everyone. This is Maheen, and welcome to the Black Business Podcast powered by CanadianSME. This is a national platform that is dedicated to celebrating excellence, empowering legacy, and elevating Black entrepreneurship across Canada. Today, we're exploring the digital engineering of enterprise group logistics, automated workflow architecture, and the cross-functional data centralization that is required for modern organizational operations. In 2026, shielding a scaling business, nonprofit, or community group from administrative drain, fragmented message loops, and expensive travel tracking mistakes requires looking past generic individual booking websites to deploy AI-powered coordination engines, collaborative itinerary workspaces, and robust real-time participant management networks. Joining us is Faith Oloruntoba, the founder and CEO of Cotriply.
Hello, glad to be
Faith,
here.
nice to be with you as well. Listeners, Faith is an elite serial entrepreneur and an award-winning innovation strategist with an exceptional academic foundation spanning the University of Lagos, University of Hamburg, Robin School of Management, and Schulich School of Business. There's lots that we will be discovering today and really learning from Faith's experience. So without further ado, let's dive in and welcome Faith. Faith, it's an absolute pleasure having you on the show with us. Thank you for joining. How are you?
Same here. I'm doing great. It's been a good day, so yay. And I'm happy to be here.
That's amazing. Now, Faith, let's open our discussion by understanding how do we really build tech to solve real operational friction? Because a massive number of corporate teams spend thousands of dollars on enterprise software subscriptions, yet when it comes to planning a massive team retreat or international conference, they immediately revert back to messy manual WhatsApp threads and endless email chains. Tell us, why did you build Cotriply, and why is group travel coordination still such a major operational challenge?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So I originally did not set out to build a travel tech company. I'm a licensed travel advisor. I've been doing this for 6 years, planning trips for people. But as I plan group trips, which is my specialty, I realized that the real work happens after the booking. And even also before the booking, we're constantly coordinating people, collecting passports, managing payments, answering the same questions over and over again, sending reminders, updating itineraries. If you've ever planned a trip for 10, 20 people, 50 people, or even a family trip where you have your extended family, you know how it goes, like regular questions and back and forth. And so many organizations are also doing this same coordination with spreadsheets, with emails, with WhatsApp group. And so I realized that this was not just a travel problem, it's also an organizational problem. And so, the process of coordinating group travel is really manual, despite, all the tools that we have available. And that's why I built Cotriply with my team. And so Cotriply, we're not trying to replace booking platforms. We're not trying to replace travel agencies, but we're trying to be the coordination layer, to help organizations seamlessly coordinate group travel. And so what we do is we centralize, participants, traveler management, the communications, the itineraries, the approvals, documentation, and, AI-powered automation all in one platform so that there is one central, source of truth for the bookings. And so, the gap we are solving is we are building the software to coordinate people in order to support softwares out there that book travel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, the benefit to organization is they get their time back. So we're giving organizations back their time so that they can focus on the purpose of the trip rather than stressing about the logistics behind it.
Well, that perspective that you just shared, Faith, it hits on a critical business blind spot because most people forget that reserving a ticket is only 5% of the equation, while the real operational burden really lies in managing the human communication, changes, and documents of 50 travelers moving together. Now let's look at how automation is fundamentally rewriting this landscape and break down the power of a dedicated coordination engine. Tell us, how does your AI coordination engine improve real-time tracking and automate team travel logistics?
Yeah, so one of the things it does is, act as a coordination hub. When you think of a hub, a hub is where, different things come together all in one place. And so that's what Cotriply is doing using AI. We're doing a lot of centralization, centralizing the information, the itineraries, the travel documents, approval, communication, all in one place, so that for the participants who are traveling in that group, when they think of the trip, they think of Cotriply and they go there for all their information. And also for the coordinator, the trip coordinator who's coordinating the trip from the organization, they can also go to Cotriply to see all the information, see everything that they need for the trip. And then our AI also automates a lot of repetitive tasks, for example, creating a poll, for example, expensing certain things, splitting expenses. The AI agent does it and even automatically creates the group. We also have our AI concierge that a lot of, organizations have found useful for the research, right? So question our AI agents on different things regarding the trip in order to get information. If you're trying to get price estimates based on the group, yeah. And so the platform automates that process as well and provide information. And then there is also real-time visibility. So you have visibility into the status of the group. You see how much is outstanding, who is yet to pay, what needs attention, what needs to be uploaded without chasing each person manually. So so that's what we're building in order to make group travel coordination intelligent, automated. Think of it as a AI powered project management platform for travel, something like that, right? So that's what we're building.
Right. That is a wonderful explanation of everything. And that completely revolutionizes how administrators manage corporate programs, because allowing AI to handle repetitive approval tracking means our managers, they spend less time chasing down paperwork and more time focused on actual team strategy. Faith, let's transition to your personal journey as a founder and really look at the strategy behind moving from a service model into a scalable technology enterprise. Tell us, what lessons did you learn transitioning from a service business to a global B2B SaaS platform?
Thank you. The first lesson is, I think for me, the biggest lesson is a service-based consulting business scales with people. A software system or a B2B SaaS platform scales with systems. So as a service consulting business, what was at the top of my mind is, how do I solve this customer's problem? But now building Cotriply as a global travel SaaS platform, I'm thinking of, how do I solve this problem for thousands of organizations? Because now we have a system, that can replicate the solution for more people. And so that shift has also changed how I approach, designing the product, how I approach the customer needs, how I approach pricing, how I approach, onboarding growth. So rather than thinking of, individual solutions for each client, right? If we have 1,000 clients, I'm thinking of, what do all of these clients have in common in terms of their pain points, and how can Cotriply solve that problem? Then the other important lesson for me is also listening before building features, before improving the platform. So because of my years in the travel industry, I have a good insight about the problem, and also because I consult with different clients. But when you're building a software platform, it also means confirming all those assumptions, testing. There's a lot of testing, there's a lot of adaptation, there's a lot of feedback going on each time, so I've actually learned, the importance of feedback, the importance of thinking bigger, in terms of systems, but also the importance of trust, right? Because even though Cotriply is an AI platform, people still need to trust it. Organizations still need to trust it for us to be that long-term coordination, travel coordination partner for them. And so it also means understanding the organizations, understanding their workflows, understanding how they think about security, and also being committed to protect their data, being reliable, and continuously improving the platform based on the feedback. So it's a more, it's a more cyclical or iterative process. Like, it's about feedback, we improve with much more frequency than when I was just a service consulting business, and I've learned a lot of empathy. I've learned a lot of, just thinking like the customer, putting myself in their shoes, listening to them, and how to turn that empathy into something scalable. So, yes.
Mm-hmm. No, that is an incredibly valuable blueprint for any founder because leveraging your deep real world industry experience to guide your software architecture, it really ensures you're building a product that solves an undeniable commercial pain point rather than just chasing a tech trend. Now let's expand on this growth and discuss your recent accolades alongside your advice for underrepresented entrepreneurs that are breaking into the tech sector. Faith, what advice do you have for underrepresented founders seeking funding in tech?
I would say the first thing is being positive and being optimistic. As an underrepresented founder, it's easy to think about the barriers because they do exist, right? But that's not a productive use of the energy. It's better to think of, okay, what can I control, right? I can't change the color of my skin. I can't change where I come from if I'm an immigrant. But but I can change how I talk to my customers. I can think of ways to improve, my traction, to make more sales, to become a more advanced and solid expert in my market, to solve a meaningful problem. Those things are within our control as founders. And so spending more time and energy on that. Then the second is, raising funds. What I have learned is it's about the relationship. Many investors, they build the relationship. They don't just write a check just from one meeting. It tends to be about relationships. So that's what is working for me. And that's what I've been focused on, being visible, building in public, asking for introductions, connecting to accelerators, startup communities, just being present, which is one of the reasons why we're having this interview, right? Being visible in the ecosystem. So that relationship is very important. I would also say never wait for perfect. There is no perfect time. There is no perfect way to do things. Everyone is learning. We learn from others. Others learn from us. So even when you think you're not ready, still start somewhere and seek knowledge and apply, pitch, send that email to the customer, promote the work that you're doing, and that increases visibility. And then most important to me will be confidence. Maheen, if I sell a product to you and you notice I'm not confident in it, would you have confidence in what I'm telling you?
No.
Exactly, right? So the number one person to have the highest level of confidence in the product is the founder, right? Because people can sense it. And so confidence is very important. Knowing the market, knowing the numbers, listening to customers, all of that build confidence. And so, yeah, that's the advice I would give to underrepresented founders.
That is amazing. Thank you so much, Faith. That really sheds light on what it truly takes to build a strong presence in the market because translating raw operational passion into a clear, scalable enterprise vision is exactly how we capture the attention of high caliber investors and ecosystem partners. Now let's explore your long-term goal of turning this innovative platform into an essential piece of everyday global business software. Tell us, what is your long-term vision for Cotriply to transform global corporate travel?
So my long-term vision is that Cotriply becomes the number one, operating AI system for enterprise group travel coordination. That would be our vision. We want to be the first. We want to be the number one. We want to build a very solid, secure platform that our clients trust across the world, because this platform is scalable in North America, in Asia, in Africa, in Europe, across the world. So we want to, be that number one. And we also want to be more than just a software. As AI continues to evolve, it gets more intelligent, it becomes more autonomous, and it's going to be, so we want Cotriply to be an intelligent travel coordinations partner for any organization, being proactive, anticipating the issues, automating the tasks, thinking ahead of even our clients who is the organization. We want to impress them. And then also we want to be a leader in how we redefine how organizations think about travel and travel coordination. That's definitely where our goal is. Also to be a unicorn, to hit the revenue goal that we have for the next 5 to 10 years, and make Canada proud too. We're a Canadian technology company, and we want it to be global. So yeah. That's
That
different.
completely modernizes the concept of workflows mobility, because turning such a chaotic multi-step coordination process into a seamless automated interface that allows modern companies to connect and collaborate across borders without any friction. This was a great conversation with you, Faith. Thank
Thank
you so much for being on the show with us and for sharing such great expertise and your insights. As we wrap up, what is your top recommendation for organizations to simplify group travel workflows and protect administrative resources?
So my top recommendation is, don't treat group travel as, a series of bookings. Treat it as an operational workflow problem, right? Treat it as a holistic thing. A lot of organizations invest in booking tools, but they still use spreadsheets, they still use email threads to coordinate, right? And so that's where we lose a lot of administrative time in managing the people. So think of, group travel as a centralized operational workflow that can be done in one piece, which is where Cotriply comes in and, solves the gap. Because thinking of it that way helps to reduce, help see solutions that can help reduce like any administrative workload, risk of errors. Yeah. And so the goal is more to organize trips more efficiently and to have a system that is very adaptive to changes, because in travel, change is real. It happens, it can happen suddenly. So yeah.
That is an exceptional final reminder, Faith, that true business resilience relies on moving past outdated legacy tools, utilizing specialized AI to handle heavy administrative workloads, and engineering our teams to keep teams communications hubs before our travelers head to the airport. Thank you so much for joining us and for sharing such great expertise and your insights. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And listeners, that was Faith from Cotriply showing us how to collapse the fragmentation of enterprise group travel, leverage AI native coordination engines to protect administrative hours, and build scalable modern technology solutions to secure our organizational workflows in 2026. Thank you for being part of the podcast. Your support really helps us advance visibility, equity, and support and opportunity for Black entrepreneurs across Canada. Please stay connected, stay inspired, and continue building legacy in motion. Until next time.